It's winter time, and winter time at Piney Grove means fencing time. And Deb is behind the camera and she's shaking her head in agreement. But what we have here is this is the last piece of our westerly fence line, and it's all overgrown with big trees, and we don't want to cut those big trees down. But we do have a leaning tree right there that we want to take care of. And we're trying to keep all the oak trees here on Piney Grove, but that's just some kind of trash tree. It's a mulberry or something like that. It doesn't serve any purpose as far as feeding the wildlife. So we're gonna cut that down, and I'll bring you in closer and talk about the cut. This tree can fall that way anywhere I want it to go, as long as it don't go this way, and there's no way it's going this way. So I'm gonna do my face cut here, and then I'm gonna do my back cut here. And as far as the hinge, I'm just gonna cut it till it starts to fall. Now on a leaning tree, I've seen a lot of videos out there where they'll actually do a plunge cut and then leave a trigger back here and then cut that trigger so it falls. But I don't want to mess this up, and I'm not real technical with a chainsaw, so I'm just going to do the traditional cut. I'll be using the Stihl MS-241C if you're interested in the chainsaw that I'm using. It's the Pro model, and it's also their smallest Pro model, I think, and it's also discontinued. I didn't exactly get the face cut all the way to this corner right here, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit with the chainsaw. But otherwise, I'm happy with this cut. Okay, now I'm ready for the back cut, and behind me you'll see there's plenty of places for that tree to fall. It's got all that area there. I think it's probably going to get hung up in one of those trees. We'll see. If it does, I got the excavator, and I also got the Summit TX25 with the grapple to help me move it. I'm making sure I got a good escape route. I think she's gonna fall right there. I'm not gonna win any awards for that ugly cut. So the tree dropped in a good direction, but my back cut was way too low. But it's hung up here. I'm gonna try and make it a little safer with the excavator. I can't believe it just picked it up. I got one dangerous limb right here. I don't want to hit the excavator, but otherwise it's doing good. I'm just gonna push the tree that way. What I didn't want to do is stand it up and have it fall back into the fence. I think we're out of danger now. I got it pushed down enough where I can start working on it with the chainsaw. All right, now I'm just gonna work my way through here and cut it off in chunks that either the excavator or the Summit can pick up. You never know which way the limbs will fall. That one fell right on the camera. To show you how deep my back cut was, it should have been up about 2 inches or so and married up with the face cut. My hinge is okay, it's not perfect. The tree is down on the ground safely. Now I'm gonna see if I can lift what's left of this tree and swing it, but the swing motor on an excavator isn't necessarily the strongest part of it, so I don't know if it can swing it. It moved it. It won't swing it. I'm gonna have to cut it up some more. But I'm gonna chunk this up now so I can pull it all out with the excavator. I don't know if this wood has any firewood value, but it's a really dense wood. Real heavy too. I'll show you the rings in a minute. I should be able to pull everything out now. The swing motor is only so strong on an excavator. It won't rip it. That limb has picked up the whole excavator. When I was a child, we used to heat a farmhouse and a greenhouse and a workshop all with wood. And we drug all this stuff out by hand and put it into a wagon behind a tractor. We didn't have a mini excavator. And I can tell you right now, if I was in the firewood business, I'd have myself a mini excavator, especially if I was pulling trees out of the woods. It's a nice straight cedar. I'll do something with it. Wanted to fall back on me. Remember how I said excavators were useful in the woods? That almost came back on me. I was lucky and grabbed it with the bucket and pushed it away. Yep. That's a nice straight cedar tree. I'll just cut the ends off there. I'll be able to use that for something. Flagpole or a post or something. Chainsaw's getting a little dull from hitting dirt, but I'm gonna try and cut this stump off more flush. I can't really dig it out because it's so close to the fence line, So as those roots start to rot, then maybe I can dig this out with the excavator in a couple years. Fast growing tree, it's got some wide rings on it. It's not real tight rings, but I know it's a dense wood, whatever it is. Pretty wood. Look how much growth it had in its early years. Grew like 1 inch, 2 inches, 4 inches. Slowed down as we got in the older years. I'm gonna delimb this cedar tree, I don't know, 20, 30 feet, probably 20 feet, and then leave the top just to rot or go in the burn pile. All right, let's go grab the summit. So I'm gonna go in here and grab everything I can with the grapple. I think it'll pick up those logs and move it over here out of the way because this is our walking path. I'm interested to see if it'll pick up a chunk of this trunk. I'm gonna keep it low. I don't know how much this thing weighs. I don't want to tip this tractor over. 1, because I'm on it, and 2, because it's not mine. That worked out pretty good. It's only my 3rd day on the summit with the grapple. Try and get this trunk here, but I don't know if I can get it sideways. There we go. It's hard to pick and choose. I'm struggling a little bit with these long limbs, so rather than fighting this pile, I'm gonna make them shorter, and it'll be more trips with the tractor, but it's just really hard to pull these long limbs out of the pile without making a mess. Camera doesn't pick up incline very well, but there's a pretty good slope right here, so I'm already starting off at an angle. It doesn't take much to get tippy. Seems so easy, just come into the pile and pick it up, but you get one log crossways, it messes up your whole grab. All right, we got that one. Got little limbs that are just making it hard to pick up. One thing I'm learning about a grapple is just pick your way through something. Don't try and get it all at once. I'm not saying you can't get a full grapple every time, but a lot of times it's just not worth it. Better just to grab what you can, get a secure load, get that cleaned and out of the way, and come back for another load. All right, let's get another piece of this trunk here. I think I got it. That's a big limb or a big piece of trunk. Yeah, that's a heavy one. I can feel it in the seat of the tractor. I think I got it. That's a pretty big load there in the grapple. You can see the piles building up over here where we're putting it. We'll just put it here. I don't think we're gonna get around this year to cutting it up for firewood or anything, but this will make good habitat for like rabbits and stuff to hide. I'm trying to put these big trunks on the top in case I want them later. I don't know what for, but if they're up higher, they might not rot as quick. This is a prime example of you pick up one thing with your grapple and you get another one. Got this other branch here. That's a sizable tree trunk. Talking about creating habitat for wildlife with that pile there, the rabbits and the birds will use it. But I was up talking to a contractor for spray foaming our mega shed, and while I was talking to him, 2 deer went right by us and actually went right by the equipment here, I guess. Just so cool having country property and being able to see animals like that. I'm trying to keep an eye on all these limbs, make sure I don't put anything through the radiator or front of the tractor. I don't know if I can get this out. It's all jumbled together. We're really liking that Summit tractor with the grapple. I got all this cleaned up without having to actually pick up any sticks with my hands. So the next thing I'm gonna do is come in here with the excavator. There's some down trees in here. There's that cedar stump, and there's just this trash right here. So I'm just gonna clean this up with the excavator and pile it up, leave it right here to rot, and then turn around with the excavator and clean up that fence line a little bit where there's some older stumps so I can mow up right up to the fence line. While I got the excavator pointed in this position, I'm gonna try and get this stump out. It's an old rotten one, so it should pop right out. But even though it's, you know, kind of rotten and low to the ground, it gets caught on the brush hog a lot. Yeah, it's popping right out. No problem. That's funny because that bent my brush hog and it just comes out so easy. We got so many things going on here at Piney Grove. We can't always do the things like this, these little things. Fixes a small problem with bending the brush hog. Can do it so quickly, but we just never get around to it. I'm gonna dig around this new stump just a little bit, just to kind of expose those roots, in case we want to get in here and work on that fence. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut this oak tree down. It's a small tree, so I should be able to push it over. Just never gonna mount to anything. It's just kind of went up 20 feet and stopped growing. And I got it with the thumb. There we go. That's actually a good stick of firewood, so I'm gonna clean it up. Maybe it won't rot as quick if it's off the ground. And you see how slow the excavator is. That's why I didn't use it to move everything over here, but since I got it out and I'm on it, you can definitely place things a lot more precise with an excavator than I can with a grapple. Other people may do better with a grapple, but I'm not there yet. We talk about Precious, our mini excavator, here a lot on our channel, and this is going to be one of those times where you can just see how useful it is. This tree is just a little cedar tree. There's not much to it at all. And in, what, 10 seconds, I'm gonna have it out by its roots. No cutting, no nothing. Don't have to touch it, don't have to hit it with the chainsaw. Just grab it, and it's pulled completely out of the fence line, will never cause problems again. And if we didn't have the excavator, I would have cut that with the chainsaw, probably hooked to a chain to the tractor and tried to pull it out. There's another stump right here. That's another one that's bent my brush hog right there. I just popped it right out. But I'm gonna clean this area up right here. There's the brush pile from the tree we cut, and this is the area I want to get done. You've seen in this video, we've got a compact tractor on the property with a grapple, and we've been wanting one for a while because a grapple is so handy. But even with a grapple, I'm still using the mini excavator for things like this, where I need to rip out stumps and rip out brush and move debris. So a tractor can do a lot of things, but without this mini excavator, we just couldn't do the things we want to do with it on this property. And it's not even like you can do it with a tractor, you know, if you take your time. Some of the things we're doing, you just can't do with a tractor. This is that stump from that long cedar tree. And it's actually being kind of stubborn. I thought it would pop right out, but it's kind of rooted in here with that cherry tree and whatever that other tree is, that pear tree. I think some of these roots are intertwined. So that might be the cherry tree root. I mean, it's just a bundle of roots in here. Just to show you what I'm dealing with, here's that cedar stump right here. And it's not budging. And all around it is all these other roots. There's a root right there. I think that's a cedar root I'm popping up. Yeah, I think that's a cedar root. That right there is actually a root from the brush. That's not the cedar root. That's a root from the brush. All right, that's another cedar root there. try a different angle. Lifting the whole excavator up. There it goes, there it goes. I'm up on one track. The whole weight of the excavator is being held by that stump. This excavator weighs about 6,000 pounds, so that's a lot of force, but I think I almost got it. If I go over here too far, I might mess up the roots of them other trees. I think I found a little gap. I got it, there it goes. The excavator is completely going on one track. There it goes, there it goes. Yeah, that thing's got a lot of roots on the bottom, more than I thought it would for a cedar tree. Look at it. All those roots. That thing was not going anywhere in a storm, I guess. We recently cleared an area for our new pole barn and had a bunch of pine trees in it, and we cut the pine trees down and carted them off and then dug the stumps out, and people were saying it would have been easier to dig around with the excavator and knock the tree over instead of cutting it. So I got this prickly pear tree. It's an invasive species. It's already leaning that way, so instead of cutting it and digging out the stump, I decided to try and remove it with the excavator, and I've got it pushed a little bit, and I thought I'd catch that on camera. All right, here we go. This will be the first tree, well, sizable tree like this that I've knocked over or dug out with the excavator instead of cutting it and digging out the stump. Maybe it wasn't as ready as I thought. I'm gonna work on these roots a little more. One reason I've never tried this is because I'm not really sure which way the tree would fall, and I don't want it to fall over on the excavator, but this one's leaning that way. Feel like it should go. Get a different angle on it. There it goes, there it goes. Right on the brush pile. The top of the tree fell right on the brush pile, so I'll just cut it off there and just have chunks that I can pick up with the excavator or the tractor. We got everything cleaned up here. After I cut up that pear tree, I got on the excavator, I put everything on this pile right here, and then I dug out that little depression. There was just kind of like a little berm there or something. I don't know what it's from, but I dug all that out with the excavator. I got it down to clean dirt and got all the roots out of it, and then I graded it with the front blade of the excavator and then packed it in. So I got that area looking real good. And then I went down the line here and just plucked out stumps that have been in the way for the whole time we've owned the property. We don't think we need to come in here and do any more tree cutting or clearing. This is a real beautiful area of our property, and we want to keep it that way. But that's going to do it for today's video. So until next time, y'all take care out there, and remember, life's short, tractor hard.